Welcome back to Biz Talk, everyone. I am Rachel Weaver. So happy today to have Noura Al-Masri with us today. Noura, it's a pleasure to have you back on the show, and I am super excited because it's the first time that I've had the pleasure of being on Biz Talk alongside you. Noura, how are you today?
Hi, Rachel. Thank you. I'm good. I'm really happy to be with you today. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. So Noura is an enrolled agent with the IRS, the founder and CEO of Nourasbooks, and an international best-selling author with a master's degree in business information technology from DePaul University. DePaul in Chicago, I have to ask.
Yes, it is.
My home.
Oh,
So you bring 20 years of accounting experience. So I am so excited to talk with you today because your expertise in increasing nonprofit funding through streamlined process is quite profound to me and anyone who's involved with nonprofits, because that is something that so many of us in the nonprofit world feel like we're constantly banging our head against the wall trying to find funding for really important causes. So I am absolutely thrilled to be here with you today and super excited to dive in. But first, I would love to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything and allow you the opportunity to give a little introduction.
Oh, sure. No, you did not forget anything. I'm really excited to be here and talk about funding for nonprofits, especially now. This is the time actually for the end of the year. So, I don't know if you've heard, like there's the latest study done in 2022 actually says 30% of total funding comes on December. So nonprofit has an opportunity. And this is actually my love, nonprofit, because, you see the impact. So I've worked with nonprofits for half of my career. I covered a lot of aspects, being volunteer, board member, founder, everything you can think of, not only from accounting aspect. This is why when I started my business, I niche down to nonprofit. Yes, I do help businesses, but I focus more on nonprofits. So 50% at least from my clients are nonprofits. I do taxes for nonprofits. I do funding. I have a coaching program. I have so many different level of support for nonprofits. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, you are definitely the right person that I know that many people that I work with need to reach out to. So I'm so excited. So I have a couple of questions for you today. What kind of financial reporting is necessary for maintaining strong donor relationships? Because everyone is out there searching for donors, and then they might receive one, but it's really important, especially if you receive, let's see, a very kind donor relationship with someone who gives quite a bit of money at the end of the year. You want to maintain that relationship throughout the year. So what kind of financial reporting is necessary to maintain that relationship?
So it all starts with nonprofit is a public information. So when you are a nonprofit, you expect everything to be public. And what represents a nonprofit is really their 990, that the reporting. This is why I always recommend every nonprofit to do their 990. The core form, not the 990N, which doesn't provide any information, not the easy. Really go with the 990 long form and provide all the information required by them. So when the donor come and see that you are transparent, you really had experience, you really had money before, how did you manage your money, how transparent you are, they see how strong you are, and then they're more willing to give, especially for those donors who's gonna give you major gifts, and more educated donors. They always actually look into your 990. They verify your information on the IRS website, because every nonprofit has a profile on IRS, and You want to make sure your 990 is there for every single year, because a lot of nonprofits think we did not have any activity, we cannot do 990. I mean, you have to, otherwise you will lose your exempt status if you do this like for 3 consecutive years. And a lot of people don't know that once this information is on their website, your status was revoked, it's there forever, even when you reinstate it. So you want to make sure you actually maintain your nonprofit image online with doing 990 every single year. So this is where it all starts, but it doesn't end there. So you have to have a main tool for donors in order to really maintain the relationship. You have to have a donor management system, because there you can have a donor profile for each of your donor. You're gonna have when did they give, how much did they give, and all other information, so you can maintain the relationship. You can send them emails, keep in touch with your donors, of course, then thank you letters, all these great stuff.
I absolutely love that. So can you tell us, how can donor funds be managed separately for accounting and tax purposes so we don't cross any borders, get into any trouble? I know that personally, the different nonprofits that I work with, because I'm involved with far too many, I can't even name them all, but we always tell the founder that's doing so much work, don't be on the board. But are there other things that we can do to make sure that funds are managed separately for accounting?
So this is like donor management system. So a lot of people, they want to manage it on their accounting, but when you do that, it's hard to maintain. So yeah, some of people still use Zelle and other, other payment cash method. I don't recommend those, just because it's hard to maintain, hard to track. But even if you do that, like, you need to have someone who go put this information on a donor management system to make sure everything reconciled together, everything in the donor management system. So when you plan a campaign, when you want to reach out to your donors, you know what's the value of your donor. So this donor may be like in the lower end, the other one is the higher end. So you know their activity, so you can reach out to them. And also, like, when you want to financially report, you run this report every single month, match it with your bank account, see you have the number, make sure like all the financial information are transferred to your accounting system. And also, so like, they should mirror each other, so the giving should be actually matching from your donor management system and for your accounting record. But it doesn't to have you don't have to break it down in the accounting system, as long as it's broken down in your donor management system. The total, though, has to match. You want to also make sure you're sending a thank you letter that includes your how much did they give, and your exempt status number, your EIN, to make sure the people who wants to claim those donations are claiming those donations, because this is also requirements for the nonprofits to send to every single client donor.
Fantastic. Very good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So are there tools that integrate donor management with overall financial management that we can work together, kind of like QuickBooks? Is there one specifically for donors?
So there's a lot of donor management system over there, and like, those softwares always improving and making sure they integrate. However, it doesn't make it easier. Sometimes if you integrate it, can make it harder and make a lot of duplication happen. So you want to see how do they integrate before you actually make them integrate, because it's not always easier to integrate. Sometimes it's easier to just like run that report separately and just have that total, make sure having that on the QuickBook or whatever system you're using. So it doesn't like, yeah, technology is great, but sometimes you can actually overestimate or underestimate. But when integration happen, a lot of time overestimate. And if you overestimate, it's a problem. For nonprofits, yeah, you do not pay taxes if you do not do unrelated business income. But you are required to report how did you spend this money. So if you're reporting duplicates, okay, you don't really have the money, but you're reporting so much, they're going to be asked, like, what happened to that money? Like, it's not in your bank account. You did not report that you did anything with it. Where did it go, right? So you want to make sure and be careful. Like, when you do any integration, you do it right, or else don't just do it, like, use it, do it manually, run reports separately, and just match it at the end.
Well, such great information shared with us today, Noura. Thank you so much for being with us. Can you tell the audience, for anyone who is considering donating, which I highly recommend this time of year, especially if you need to get rid of some tax money, right?
Yeah.
So this is the best time of year to do it. Reach out to Noura. Where can we find you?
So you can book a call at nourasbooks.com/contacts. We can hop on a Zoom and we can talk. And like you said, it's the time. You can give up to 60% of your if your gross income, if your AGI of your adjusted gross income, and you save a lot of money for taxes. So it's the time.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for that information. I know that I will be personally reaching out to you. And for anyone with other questions in regards to even setting up your nonprofit, be sure to reach out to Noura. Thank you so much for being with us today on Biz Talk.
Thank you for having me.